Welcome to Folktales of Africa. We have changed our name from Enchanting Folktales to Folktales of Africa. Today's story is about Taiwo and Kehinde. It's a tale of twin sisters' envy, betrayal, and forgiveness. Once upon a time, in a small village in western Nigeria, there lived two beautiful twin sisters named Taiwo and Kehinde. From the moment they were born, it was evident that they possessed contrasting personalities. Taiwo, the older twin, was known for her patience and diligence. She excelled in her studies, willingly helped her parents with household chores, and always followed the path of righteousness. On the other hand, Kehinde had a mischievous streak. She often neglected her responsibilities, defied her parents' guidance, and sought adventure and excitement at every turn. She refused to join her sister in doing house chores and would leave everything for Taiwo to do. As the sisters grew up, their differences became more apparent. Taiwo's reputation spread far and wide, and many suitors sought her hand in marriage. Eventually, a kind and respectable young man named Adeolu won her heart, and they decided to marry with their parents' blessings. The news of Taiwo's impending marriage left Kehinde consumed with jealousy and bitterness. She could not bear the fact that her sister had found happiness before her, while she remained unlucky in love. As the years passed, Taiwo and Adeolu's love grew stronger, and their family expanded with the arrival of two beautiful children. Their home was filled with laughter and happiness, but Kehinde's heart remained filled with envy and bitterness. She could not bear to witness the love and affection Adeolu showered on her twin sister, Taiwo, and she craved it for herself. Driven by jealousy, Kehinde decided to devise a plan to remove Taiwo from the equation and claim Adeolu for herself. She knew that her actions were selfish and cruel, but her desire for love and attention blinded her to the consequences of her actions. Taiwo usually traveled to buy goods for her business and would ask Kehinde to come take care of her children while she was away. As such, Kehinde decided to study Taiwo's habits and plan to take Adeolu for herself. One fateful day, Kehinde went to an herbalist in another town to ask for a potion that would make someone sleep for a very long time, and when they woke, they would lose their memory. Then Kehinde came back, pretending that she had come to help her sister clean the house and cook. Then she waited for the day Taiwo was to travel and volunteered to cook the meal for that day. As she prepared the meal, she packed some for her sister Taiwo in a cooler and sprinkled some of the portion that the herbalist gave her into Taiwo's food for that day. When Taiwo was about to leave, she gave Taiwo the cooler and a drink, asking her to eat it on her journey. Taiwo thanked her sister, but felt somehow, and then told her sister that she decided not to go again. And Kehinde asked her why. She said she just felt amiss and just felt she didn't want to go on the journey any longer. Kehinde convinced her that all was well and that she would take care of her family. With that, Taiwo was convinced and left. On her way, Taiwo stopped over in the next town to get some things before proceeding to the next state for her business. As she stepped down from the bus, she met an old friend of hers, Shade, and Shade was excited to see Taiwo after a very long time, and then insisted that Taiwo must come visit her in her house. Then Taiwo agreed, noting that she would not spend much time. When they got to Shade's house, Taiwo said she had some food and wanted to eat because she was hungry. Shade said, "Why not?" When she had eaten almost half of her food, she dozed off. Her friend was surprised and just felt that Taiwo was tired. But it took about 3 hours and Taiwo was still sleeping, and this made Shade worried. Shade shook her friend, hoping that she will wake up, but she did not. Immediately, Shade raised alarm and rushed Taiwo to the nearest hospital. The doctor checked her and told Shade that her friend Taiwo was in a very deep sleep, but not in a coma. Her friend Shade was so worried because she didn't know anything about Taiwo, because they had just met after a very long time. She didn't know who to reach or any of her family member or where she was coming from, and this got Shade very worried. At home, it was past 3 days since Taiwo left and had not returned. Kehinde was happy knowing that what she had put in her sister's food had finally worked and she can have Taiwo's husband to herself. But her husband, Adeolu, was very worried. He searched for his wife. He also went to the nearest town to ask if they have seen his wife, and someone described where she normally buys her goods, and he also went there, only for him to be told that Taiwo never got there. This made him so sad. He went home to tell Taiwo's parents about what was happening. They all were sad, but Kehinde was happy within her, even if she was pretending to be sad. Adeolu, who was deeply concerned for his little children's well-being, agreed to Kehinde's suggestion to fully move into the house to take care of the children and the household until Taiwo returned. Little did he know that Kehinde's true intentions were far from noble. With Taiwo's absence, Kehinde saw an opportunity to manipulate Adeolu's emotions and win his affection under the guise of taking care of her sister's children. A week later, Taiwo got up from her deep sleep, but she lost her memory. She couldn't recognize anyone, including her friend Shade. Shade was so worried and did not know what to do. So she decided to take care of Taiwo, hoping that one day her memory will return back. But Taiwo never recovered, and as such, Kehinde seized the opportunity to be by the side of Adeolu. She played the role of a caring sister-in-law, consoling Adeolu during his moment of worry and offering support during Taiwo's absence. With each passing day, Kehinde's affectionate gestures towards Adeolu became more pronounced, hoping to win his heart in Taiwo's absence. Meanwhile, Shade had taken Taiwo to a distant village and sought the expertise of a renowned healer. The healer, a wise woman, sensed Taiwo's confusion and uneasiness. After asking some series of questions, she said to Shade, "Take your friend Taiwo back home and let her confront her sister and her husband." Shade was confused because she didn't know where Taiwo came from, let alone her family. With heavy heart, Shade started to ask people from one place to another, hoping that one person had seen Taiwo or knows Taiwo. Then, luckily for her, she stumbled on the herbalist that gave Kehinde that portion, and then she took Taiwo to this herbalist. On getting to the herbalist's place, the herbalist examined Taiwo carefully and then said, "I have seen this before. A young woman came sometime to collect this portion, saying that she wanted anybody who she put this in their food to have a deep sleep and to forget their memory. I remember her very well. She looked just exactly like this girl standing in." And then Shade wondered, Taiwo, could that be her twin sister Kehinde? Then the herbalist gave Shade some things in a cup to give Taiwo to drink. Immediately, Shade gave it to Taiwo, and Taiwo drank it. Not long, Taiwo's memory came back. This time, Taiwo was shocked when she looked around her environment and asked, what was she doing here? Then Shade took her home, explaining all that had happened. Taiwo was grateful that Shade took care of her all this while and promised to repay her back for her kindness. This time, she was not happy. Her mind was filled with question and her spirit weighed down by the sense of betrayal. This time, she decided to go home to confront Kehinde and her husband Adeolu, no matter the pain it might bring. As Taiwo stepped foot into her home, she was greeted with a sight that shattered her heart. Kehinde and Adeolu, lost in a moment of embrace, stood frozen in shock at her unexpected return. The truth was laid bare before Taiwo's eyes. This time, the truth pierced her soul with anguish and disbelief. In that moment, Kehinde realized the depth of her wrongdoing and the pain she had inflicted upon her sister Taiwo. Tears streamed down her face as she desperately tried to explain her actions, her voice trembling with remorse and regret. Adeolu was consumed by guilt. He could just hang in there in shame. With immense strength and grace, Taiwo confronted her sister and husband, demanding an explanation for their betrayal. The room was filled with mixed emotions as truths were revealed and apologies were offered. In the face of this betrayal, Taiwo made a hard choice. She decided to forgive her sister Kehinde and her husband Adeolu. Instead of succumbing to anger and hatred, she chose forgiveness, recognizing the depth of her sister's envy. This time, instead of getting angry, she forgave her sister and her husband, but told Kehinde never ever to come to her home again. Adeolu, overwhelmed by his wife's forgiveness, vowed to make amends for his actions. Together, Adeolu and Taiwo embarked on a journey of healing, forgiveness, and redemption. With time, wounds began to mend, trust was slowly rebuilt, and their love blossomed once again. The lesson in this story is: envy and betrayal bring temporary satisfaction, but ultimately lead to unhappiness. True happiness cannot be achieved by trying to take what does not belong to you. Forgiveness has the power to heal wounds and build relationships. Genuine love is based on trust, honesty, and selflessness. Remember that resentment and bitterness only hinder personal growth and prevent the attainment of true happiness. If you like our story, then please subscribe to our channel. You can also comment, share, and turn on your notification bell. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. See you in the next story.